All right, for more analysis, let's bring in Mark Kimmitt, who is the former Assistant Secretary of State for Political and Military Affairs. He joins us now from Washington. General Kimmitt, always a pleasure having you on. There's a lot to cover, so let's start off with the deadline. President Biden is sticking to this date for now, but the decision defies allied leaders who want to give the evacuation more time. Do you think this opens up the president to criticism that he's caved in to the Taliban's deadline demands?
Well, I think there are some people that will say that, especially since he has now narrowed the scope of the mission. Before, we were talking about bringing Afghans that had worked with the United States, Afghans that may have been in the government. Now he is reducing it to American citizens and those personnel that have special immigrant visa applications. So that leaves out a significant number of people that may have worked with the United States in a non-official basis or worked in government ministries who are at high risk and seeking asylum.
Okay.
So I think there are two issues. One is the 31st date may or may not be tenable, but also when you reduce the scope, you reduce the amount of time you need to be on the ground.
Sure, that's a good point. The president also mentioned sort of contingency plans that were going to be in coordination with the Pentagon. I mean, should this deadline not be able to be met? What do you think these could be?
Well, obviously, there's some people out in provinces that probably have not had a chance to get to Kabul who are eligible, perhaps American citizens, perhaps SIV recipients. So we're going to have to come up with some other options about how to get them. It may also be that the flow just slows down because of Taliban interference. So like every other military operation, no plan survives first contact. So they're going to have to be flexible, particularly if after August 31st, somebody calls up and says, I'm a legal resident of Rhode Island. Please help me. My cell phone coverage just came back open. So they need to be flexible and not candidly bullied around by the Taliban.
Do you think the Taliban will allow that flexibility?
Well, I think the more important issue is the United States going to leave American citizens or SIV recipients behind? And I don't think that's the case. The Taliban believe they've got the upper hand in all this, but candidly, we are going to protect the American citizens. We're going to get them out. We're going to get the SIV recipients out with or without the Taliban's agreement after August 31st.
When the president spoke a couple of hours from the White House, he said that the evacuations have to finish soon because of the increasing threat from Daesh's Afghan arm, ISIS-K. I mean, how serious do you think this threat is?
Well, I think it's a significant threat. When you take a look at the little clusters of people that are either at the hotel or at the gates, that's a significant target for ISIS-K. We saw that all the time in Iraq. You'd have a line of vehicles trying to get into a checkpoint, and a vehicle with an IED in it would come careening in from the side, blow up, kill dozens of people in the process. So that's a real risk. It's one that needs to be calculated by the people on the ground. But I don't think that's necessarily something that should stop the operations or accelerate the operations and leave some people behind because of it.
All right. General Mark Kimmitt, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate your analysis. Thank you.